Are you looking for ways to enjoy the holidays while being mindful of spending? Well, we are too. Keep listening to hear some money savvy ways to handle the holiday season. Hello, and welcome to the Wealth Minded MD podcast with your money best friends. I'm Dr. Lisha Taylor.
And I'm Dr. Brittne Halford.
We're here to help you build wealth and make money decisions so you can create the life you desire with more control over your time.
Hey, Lisha, one of the most important financial tasks we do as doctors is protect ourselves, which means getting the right insurance. I recall purchasing my insurance policy just a few days before I graduated from residency. What was your experience?
So I got my insurance when I graduated from medical school right before I started residency. I actually called a few agents, but I had the best service from Pradeep Auto at PKA Insurance Group. He was super responsive and personable. Unlike some of the other agents, Pradeep actually got me quotes from all the major companies and actually took the time to explain the nuances in each of their policies. What I love most is that he wasn't just this way for me. Whenever I would send one of my friends to him, he would not only speak to them, but he'd also let them know where to go or who to contact if there were better options or discounts available.
At PKA Insurance Group, Pradeep Auto and Matthew Peterson are independent brokers focusing on disability and life insurance. They excel in securing coverage for physicians and other medical professionals. Discounts on disability insurance can range from 10 to 40% depending on your situation. And there is now an A-plus rated carrier offering up to $10 million of life insurance without lapse. If you are very healthy with limited to no medical issues, approval is likely in 5 minutes. Reach out to PKA Insurance to discuss your disability or life insurance needs at www.pkainsurance.com or call 1-800-258-1018.
All right, Brittne, you are in Boston, I believe. What is happening over there for you?
Oh my gosh, I'm just doing all of the things and this parenting role. And also, it's a really great season, as I mentioned in a previous podcast, of the applications, right? So now we're reviewing applicants, we're inviting them for interviews, we're planning out the recruitment. And I recently just got on a call with some of the residents about how can we make people choose us as an institution? Because Boston is filled with such great academic centers to get phenomenal education and training. But how do they choose us? How can we increase the likelihood by making them not only feel this is a good place to come, this is a safe place, it's going to feel supportive, but also a fun place. You know, we've talked in past episodes about burnout, and one of the ways that I think we could also mitigate burnout is a little bit of fun. So I love that we have our fun money segment on this podcast. And I'm just thinking about how can we make residency more fun? How can I make interview process more fun so people are like, oh, okay, I'm going to go here, I'm going to work hard, but I'm also going to play hard. So it's like a lot of brainstorming and going through creative ideas with the residents. They're like, oh, that help, but I don't know. The other residents are still pretty strapped. I don't know if they can do that.
It is so funny to hear you talk about ways that you are going to recruit people to Boston as I look at you wear a Michigan hoodie. So I am just kind of chuckling inwardly at the irony of what is being said versus what I'm visibly looking at. Just for our own clarity, you are recruiting and helping to recruit residents for Boston, not Michigan, correct?
Yeah, but you know what? It's so funny because I bleed blue. My blood is not red. I bleed blue, people. And there are so many Michiganders or people who went to the University of Michigan. So I was going for a run the other day and this guy had his ear pods in, but I could see his maize in blue. And I was like, go blue. He took his ear pods out and I was like, go blue. He's like, oh yeah, go blue.
Oh my gosh. So you are working for one institution and visibly repping another. But you know what? Just my suggestion for recruitment is probably to not wear your Michigan stuff when you are recruiting for Boston, but I'm going to let you live. Anyway, I am happy that you are trying to make residency more fun. I always appreciated those days when we had like some free food in the lounge or whatever for the residents, wellness days. I think as a resident, you always kind of appreciate free good food. I loved when we were bringing people in person for interviews because then that meant that we got good food and residency. And I was like, oh, yes, what are we having today? Sometimes the highlight of my day, which kind of speaks to my experience, but I love to eat. I appreciate really good food. I mean, I had an incredible residency experience. Let me not say otherwise, but I'm just saying I appreciated the days that we got good food. So maybe that is one of the things that you could do. Good food, road. A little holiday bonus could go a long way. I know that you may be strapped for funds, but a little holiday gift or something could go a long way too. So,
Well, I'm going to ask for more because gift giving is not my strength. So we'll have to find some affordable gifts that I can give to the residents to say, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you for all of your hard work. And this is something that you can give to yourself.
yeah. Well, I over here am planning a little holiday relaxation trip. One of the things that I love to do is take some time for myself off work and just like reevaluate things, reevaluate my goals in life in a variety of different arenas, right? My spiritual goals, my financial goals, my personal goals, financial goals, all of the different things. What did I set out to do this year? What are the things that I accomplished or didn't accomplish? What things should I change about my life to increase happiness? I always try to get better from year to year. What are the different ways that I can do that in these different arenas? And so that's one of the things that I love to do at the end of the year usually. And normally I do that in the comfort of my own home. Not that my home is not comfortable, but this year I thought, you know what? I've wanted to go to Cabo. We've talked about this and I have credit card points. And so I said, I think I'm going to book a trip to Cabo using credit card points. I'm not spending money, but it would be in a new place, a relaxing place. Cabo's warm in the winter. So somewhere just being in a nice resort where all the food is free and all the drinks are free and all of that stuff. There's pools, there's water, and being in a place where I can relax and really think. I'm going to go with one of my closest friends. She's like, oh, yes, let's go. I need to get out of here anyway. And so she is very, very thrilled to go on this trip with me. And so we are going to go just for a few days, maybe 4 days or something like that in Cabo, but doing it towards the middle or the end of December, right before Christmas time to really reevaluate things and take some time for me. So I am very excited about that.
I'm jealous. I was just thinking, this girl is going on another trip. Lisha, take me, please.
You know what? I actually thought about taking you because we have some points that we could also use on our joint business credit card. And I was like, at some point when Brittne has time and her life is not insane, we should do like a business meeting trip thing.
Let's go. I am ready. Give me the date. I'm going to call my mama. Mama, please. Mama, please.
So I got you, Brittne. You think about where you want to go and we can try to make that happen.
As you're talking about all of these trips and using this time to just focus in on reevaluating your life goals and doing it in a place that is beautiful, I'm thinking, oh, I have a money confession to make. I have a Canada Air flight ticket that I have not used and will likely expire. So I'm thinking, oh, Alicia's going on this trip. This is not a solo trip, but it's a trip for reflection. Maybe I could use this Canada Air flight that will probably expire and go unused on a solo trip for reflection.
Go. You deserve it.
But it's cold in Canada. Should I? I mean, like,
It is cold now. Well, okay. So I have a question for you. Could you book a flight, cancel it, get the credit, and then use the credit to book a flight at a different time of the year?
so we've already kind of done that. And I have to use it by April.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I could do it twice. Maybe there's a loophole. Maybe I should try.
This is what people do when fun fact, when they book resorts. You know, the resort usually has like a cancellation window, right? You have to cancel before a certain amount of days or else you have to pay for at least one cost of the night of the resort or one cost of the night of the hotel. What they will do is call and reschedule and push the date back 3 months from now. And then that gives them a new cancellation window and then they'll cancel it. So that's what people do very frequently. I'm not speaking for personal experience.
Well, I've only done it once, but I don't know. Maybe I should try to do it again to see if I can push it back.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have to fly by April or you have to book the flight by April?
You have to fly by April.
Oh, okay.
April 9th is my birthday. I was thinking that this could be like a solo birthday trip. I was trying to make it a girls' trip, but my girls don't want to go to a cold place in April. They're like, oh, let's go here, let's go here. I'm like, Canada Air doesn't fly there. So, and I tried to find, like, could I have another flight? But then it's like 23 hours to get to another location outside of Canada. So, anywho, I've also thought about how can I give it away? I have a few friends in Canada. Is anybody traveling there? I don't have to use it. Someone has to use it by this date, and no one has taken me up on the offer. So I think this is God telling me that I could just take a solo trip. Like, even if it's cold and there's maybe a hot tub in the hotel, or I just stay in the cozy hotel, and I'm sure it's going to be beautiful. I could put on my coat and snow boots and see just complete white. Maybe I'll go skiing. I don't know.
I just thought about skiing. I love to go skiing. And have I been to Canada? Sort of. Like on a cruise. It was like a cruise stop. So I guess that counts, but like not really. So if you want to go skiing in the wintertime before April, let me know. I mean, I know you just talked about solo trip and I just invited myself, but I love to go skiing. And so if you want to go skiing, I love that. When you're talking about the cold air, yes, most of my vacations are in warm places, but I do think there's something about the air being crisp and you cozying up and being in a hot tub and then cozying up with a warm blanket and hot cocoa and having some relaxing music on and some candles and just like reading a book and just sipping some wine. Girl, I'm getting in that mood right now. And I'm like, this actually sounds fantastic. Book a stay in a luxury hotel, a little spa or something. Like, girl, do it. I'm here to support you.
Thank you, Lisha. I appreciate it. So I need to see this not as a money mishap, as a money opportunity.
Yes.
Right? I need to reframe how I'm thinking about using this flight credit. Okay. All right. I'm there. So I'll report back sometime, hopefully soon, about me booking my travel and luxury hotel. And we have credit card points that I haven't used. So maybe I can use them. All right. All right. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. And
Yes.
this is going to be a birthday trip.
You should totally do it. You should totally do it. As you were talking about money confessions, it's interesting. It's not necessarily my confession, but, a conversation I was having with one of my friends, we were talking about salary, newsflash, I'm always talking about money. And, she said, Lisha, I think my job gave me a raise. And I said, what makes you think that? And she said, well, my check's larger. And I said, really? And she said, yeah, I think they gave me a raise. And I'm surprised by it, but I'm certainly not going to complain. And I said, okay, well, do you mind if I ask you some questions, right? I always got to ask for permission. And she says, of course, that's what I'm telling you. And I said, by any chance, is your raise around like $600 or $700? And she looks at me strange and she goes, how did you know? At them, you're laughing because you probably know what this is. And I said, okay, well, I don't think it's a raise. However, I think what happened is that you hit the Social Security cap. And she looks at me and she goes, Lisha, I don't know what you're talking about. And I said, well, you know how you pay a lot of money in taxes? She says, yes, they always take out a lot of taxes. And I said, well, look at your pay stub. And I said, one of the taxes they take out is federal taxes, right? Federal income taxes. One of those taxes is state taxes because we live in Georgia. She said, yeah, I know. And I said, well, two other taxes that they usually take out are FICA taxes. And that is for Medicare and Social Security. And Medicare taxes you're always going to pay. But Social Security actually has a cap. And so once you have made, it changes each year with inflation, but I think this year is around like $168,000 as a single person, you no longer pay Social Security taxes. And so you're going to get around a 6 or 7% raise whenever you hit that cap. And she looks at me and she goes, oh yeah, you're right. Social Security taxes anymore. And I was like, it's nothing to be bummed about. Is there's a nice perk, right? Your checks get larger towards the end of the year. But I wanted to tell you that I don't think your job would just purposefully give you more money. But I'm saying this to say that she was still excited about the fact that her paychecks went up. And she was especially excited because they go up around this time of the year, around holiday season. And she was like, well, you know what, Lisha, I don't even care why it went up. I'm just happy because now I can buy more gifts. Now I can do more travel stuff. It's nothing like getting money that you didn't expect. And I said, you know what? I can feel you on that. And so I just wanted to share that little story about a money confession because I think it's a good reminder for those of us who are in medicine and are fortunate enough to make over a certain amount of money per year that around this time of the year, as most of us are gearing up to spend more money around the holidays, we also may be experiencing a little pay boost.
Such a great story, Lisha. And you are a phenomenal storyteller. That's so funny that your friend was excited about the $600, that she even noticed the $600. Some people don't notice. And that she thought that it was a raise. It's just so funny, And I think that there's just a huge money lesson there for us to look at our pay stub to see what's going in and going out and understanding how our money flows because it helps you to be strategic about the planning. So now she has this $600 extra dollars. What is she going to do with it? Maybe she can use it as a savvy way to purchase and save for the holiday.
As physicians, one of the most important things that we can do is make sure that we secure our income because a lot of our financial plans are contingent on our high doctor income. One of the things that you will need to do is make sure that you get long-term disability insurance.
Now, Pradeep and his team at PKA Insurance Group have a reputation for putting people over profits and always doing what's best. Do not hesitate to email PKA Insurance and his team today.
They will help you get the insurance you need with the service you deserve.
So let's get into our financial focus today.
Yes, absolutely. You mentioned it. It's around the holiday season. And I just want to say, I didn't want to just burst her bubble, but I just didn't want her to think that she was going to have this extra $600 or $700 boost for eternity. I wanted to level set with her like, hey, that paycheck's going to go back down now in January when that cap restarts. So that was my whole purpose of letting her know that. It wasn't ill intent. I just didn't want her to expect it and then goes back down in January. But anyway, You are right. It's around the holiday season, which I am very excited about. Brittany, I don't know about you, but this is one of my favorite times of the year. I absolutely love family. I love Christmas time. I love Thanksgiving. I love all the pumpkin spice lattes, the gingerbread lattes. Like, this is my season. I thrive. Okay. And I love quarter 4 of the year. And one of the things that I have to be mindful of is the amount of money that I spend. I think there are a lot of statistics that show that people spend the most during this quarter of the year. October, November, December. People spend a lot of money during these months of the year. A lot of people tend to go into debt during this time, usually because of all the holiday spending and gifts that they're buying. And also, this is the time of the year where a lot of people give money to charities and things like that. And so, this is a very interesting time of the year around the holiday season. And we've got some money savvy tips for you. But before we go into that, I'm going to get a little nosy here because Brittany, you're laughing. I know you quite well, but there is always more that I can learn. And so I am curious, how do you and your husband handle the holidays financially? Do you guys have a spending plan? Do you have a holiday account? Like, what do you guys do?
We should, but we don't. We don't. Usually when we're in Michigan, we typically go to Michigan, my mother's home, for Christmas. At some point when my husband's watching TV, I'm like, baby, I know you don't want to talk about this, but can we just round out the year what our financial goals are, what our financial commitments are? So I always kind of keep in mind Christmas and the holiday travel and thinking about that as a budget item when I'm considering our financial goals and our financial obligation. However, we don't have a specific account that we designated money to. I think that's probably what we should do for the upcoming year. But unfortunately, or fortunately, unfortunately for people who desire to receive gifts from us, or fortunately for us, like, we don't give a ton of gifts. I know you said, like, you're so excited, you love gift giving. Like, gift giving is not my strength. It actually gives me a little bit of anxiety, and it takes up so much of my time because I'm so indecisive about what I should give to people. I think we talked about this in a past episode about, like, what to buy my mom for Mother's Day. And so we don't give a lot of gifts. How we typically give is to give experiences. So for Christmas, we know that we're going to pay for a Christmas dinner or a Christmas party for my family.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's not as fancy as it sounds because we kind of cap it, but we basically book out a room in a restaurant and we know, okay, each person's going to have this on their menu. We select the items and these are the things that they can choose for. If they want something else outside of that, then they can pay for it themselves. But that way we're saying, okay, we're going to spend about $25 per person or something like that. And so that's really helpful for us and it brings the family together. And then my aunt plans games. She loves to do it. And there's like a Mrs. Claus and a Mr. Claus, and my aunt typically does a little bit of a gift exchange, but that's how we give. So it's really easy for us to know, okay, we're going to spend about $25 per person. This is the number of people that typically come, and we have that in our cash flow.
That sounds lovely. It reminded me of an idea that I got from one of my friends. And we were talking about his birthday, actually. And I said, what are you doing for your birthday? And he said, I think we're going to have a dinner party. And I said, oh, that sounds fun. Like, tell me more. I was like, are you having at a restaurant? And he says, no, I think I'm going to hire a chef. And I go, ooh, this sounds kind of fancy. And he says, you know what? It's actually not that expensive. He's like, I just wanted to do something different. And I think he told me it was like, now the chef that he wanted for his birthday was going to do like a 3 or 5 course meal for people. And I think he said it was like either $50 or $70 per person. And the reason why he said it wasn't that expensive is because he thought, well, if we went to a fancy restaurant, we would probably pay around $100 for a 3 course meal anyway. And so for him, it wasn't like a huge difference in cost. And he was like, I feel like it would be a different experience. They get to come over to my place. I have it decorated. They get this fine dining experience, but in the comfort of home. And so they can relax and enjoy. And I thought to myself, wow, what an awesome idea. Maybe I'll do that sometime around the holidays at some point for some of my close family and friends. I know some people do like a Friendsgiving. And so they kind of do that. But it sort of reminded me of that when you were talking about how you and your husband host a party. Do you guys bring in a chef? I missed that maybe if you guys do, or do you guys cook food? You cater? What do you guys do?
We typically go to a restaurant for all of us. Like, no, I don't want to clean up because I don't like to clean. I just want it to be stress-free, for the holidays because we do this right around Christmas. And then in addition to preparing for this Christmas party, we also have to make a Christmas dinner. That's just too much stress for us. So I like it to be stress-free. We go, we have our time together. We don't have to worry about cooking or washing anybody's dishes. We eat, we enjoy, and we read. So we typically do it at a restaurant.
Gotcha. All right. And so you're talking about how you and your family spend the holidays. Do you all have a set budget that you know you want to spend each year? Are there times where you overspend or underspend? How do you handle that?
I don't know if I've ever overspent because we have a lot of latitude in our budget and I don't buy gifts. So I don't buy gifts for adults. I buy gifts for my nieces and nephews, but oftentimes that's just cash. My kids have too many toys. I wish people would just give me cash, put this in their 529 account or something like that. I'm actually thinking about this year, instead of giving cash, buying the gift of college gift cards and giving them so that they can put them in their 529 account. But we've never really overspent because we don't purchase a ton of gifts. We just give money to our nieces, nephews, and the kids in our family, and the adults are basically on their own. I typically buy a gift for my mother, my father, my mother-in-law, and my father-in-law. But that's that. And then last year, I gave my mom a gift certificate, or 2 years ago, and she still hasn't used it. So I'm going to tell her, here's the same gift certificate. And when she does, then I'll give her another gift.
Interesting. Your family is very different from mine. I will say I had mixed feelings about the whole college fund gift giving idea. And let me let you know why. A part of me wonders if it's a little insensitive. And I'll say that for a couple of reasons. One, when people will sometimes say, oh, you don't have to give my kid a gift, they get too many toys, give them a donation to the college fund. I'm like, well, I want to get the kid something they can enjoy for their birthday or for the holidays. The kid didn't say, oh, I'm sorry, in lieu of you giving me something that I want to enjoy, can you help pay for my college? Like, what? I want the kid to enjoy their birthday. So I want to give them something that brings them joy. And the other reason I have mixed feelings about it is because it kind of sort of seems like I'm subsidizing an expense that I feel the parents should be paying for. And it seems especially odd when the parents are high earning people. It's sort of like, okay, you don't want me to give your kid something that they can enjoy so that I can help you better afford a large cost that you should be paying for yourself. So it sort of kind of seems odd to me. And so that's why I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I think it's different if we're talking about family, or at least give me the option, right? It doesn't have to be a toy. If I'm giving cash, I would like for that cash to be used for the kid to buy something that the kid wants. But to just say, oh, they'll be all right. Just give money for college that they're never going to see. They're not going to see for another 20 years. It's like, that's kind of not what I want to do. I want to bring them joy in some way during this holiday season. And so that's kind of why I have mixed feelings about it. That being said, I do plan to do some 529 gift cards for my niece and my nephew, but again, that's family, and I will probably buy them a gift as well. And so I love the gift of college gift cards. I utilize them a lot, but I'm a little more selective in how I do that, especially around the holiday season.
Lisha, thank you for sharing that perspective, because gift giving is not something that brings me joy. I forget that it does for other people, right? And so this is focused on you and also the kid, that you want to do this for them. And so it seems like the parent is removing that opportunity from you to experience that joy and elation with the kids. And I wholeheartedly agree. My dad, like, oh, can I buy the kids this? Can I buy the kids that? And I'm like, Dad, they don't really need that. Like, can you get them some shoes? Brooke needs some shoes. She needs a coat. I get them something that she's like, no. And we were at a toy store recently purchasing gifts for a birthday party, and there was a grandfather there with his daughter. And he was so upset, Lisha. I shared with him, I was like, oh, my dad tries to buy my kids all these toys, and they don't need these toys. It's like, yeah, I wanted to buy a drum set for my kid, and do you know she's not gonna let me buy it? He was so upset. And when he left, he was like, and I hope your father buys something that's very noisy for your kids. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Granddad. But his love language is probably giving gifts. And he really wanted that kid to experience the elation of banging away and causing his mother's moments of insanity. And so I will have to remember that when I say, okay, give them the heart, but these are the things that they could use if you choose to buy something else.
No, I love that. We'll be buying things for like a partner, somebody that I'm dating, or for family members. I try to keep in mind, there's a saying, I forget exactly how it goes, but it's like you give people something that they can wear, something that they need, something that they can read, and something that they would enjoy. And so I keep that in mind. And I'm like, okay, what's something that they could wear, that they could use? And maybe it's a nice jacket or a nice shirt or a sweater or jeans or whatever. What's something that they need some more of, looking at their needs or whatever? What's something that they could read? I love to give people books. And what's a good book that I think they would enjoy, whether it's nonfiction or fiction or whatever? And then what's something that they would enjoy that they wouldn't think to buy themselves? And so that's sort of my mantra when I am trying to purchase a gift. But yeah, I think gift giving can get really expensive. You mentioned you don't get gifts for adults. I get gifts for tons of adults. My family is humongous. them go. I get gifts for both my brothers, my parents, and now both my sister-in-laws as well. I have nieces and nephews, so I get gifts for them. We draw names, and our gift limit, I think, is around $200. So you pull a name and you get somebody like a $200 gift. And then we do stocking stuffers for everybody. And so there's a bunch of smaller gifts that go into stocking stuffers. And so there's a lot of money spent around the holidays in the Taylor household. And so this can get quite expensive. So yeah, I think it's a slightly different perspective over here for me.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I was doing like a financial session one year during the holidays, and someone brought this up that she and her brother, they chose each other's names, and they were kind of in competition of who's going to buy the best gift. So I wonder, is there any judgment from your perspective? You're like, oh, you just bought me this. I know how much this cost, and why would you get me this gift? How do you feel when you're receiving gifts or when other people are receiving gifts, given that you all $200? I was like, whoa, that's a decent amount to purchase.
Yeah.
That's the limit. So how closely am I approaching this limit in my gift giving?
Yeah. So let me be clear. So when we draw names, it's for extended family because my dad has 8 siblings. My mom has 14, just putting that into perspective. We don't usually send Christmas to my mom's side of the family, but my dad's side of the family alone is very large. I mentioned my dad has 8 siblings, and then those siblings have kids, and those kids have kids, and some of those kids have kids. And so there's a lot of people. And so we give individual gifts to immediate family. So that's why my parents, my brothers, my sister-in-laws. And then for cousins and aunts and uncles, we exchange gifts. And for many of them, this one gift that you're getting from someone pulling your name is one of the main gifts that you're going to get that entire holiday season. So they want it to be sort of a good gift. And normally it's not secretive. And so people know who pulled their names or whose names you pulled. And so you can tell the person, hey, this is something that I'd really enjoy. Or you can let the person sort of buy what they want. And so it really just depends. And then the stocking stuffer sort of started as like a way for everybody to get some smaller gifts. So sometimes there's calendars in there, there's candy in there, there's some gift cards in there, battery packs, chargers, things like that. So we do a variety of different things.
Cool. Well, I will definitely have to reach out to you for my gift giving ideas.
All right. Now that we've talked about ourselves and our family, let's give the people some tips, some money savvy ways, as we mentioned in our title, to handle the holidays. I think for me, one of the biggest things I have done that has helped some is to plan ahead and set money aside. I have what I call like a short-term savings fund. And this is a fund that I put money in each month, and I will use it for holiday spending, gifts, whatever. And sometimes this fund will bleed over into my vacation fund. So it just kind of depends. Trying to keep them separate doesn't always work out that way. Sometimes one fund has way more money than the other, and I have to kind of reallocate some things. But the point of the matter is that I know that this is a time of year for me, especially, that I tend to spend a lot of money on gifts. Sometimes we will travel. I live in Atlanta. Sometimes we'll spend Christmas in Florida. You have to factor in travel costs and things like that. But I always try to plan ahead. So each month I put some money into, I mentioned the short-term saving fund that I keep in, and I utilize that money for gifts. So that's one of the things that I do. Brittany, what's something that you do?
As I've already mentioned, I like to spend on experiences. And I think experiences sometimes can be a little bit more predictable than a gift at times because the prices of things change if they're on sale, off sale, things of that nature. And when you spend on an experience, sometimes you can negotiate and budget, okay, if we bring this number of people, then there's a discount. So I like to think about how can I create an experience for my family and make that experience within a certain budget.
Okay. So you're spending on experiences. Let's say if you are traveling or something like that, are you looking for discounts? Do you have any things that you do to sort of lower the price?
If I am giving my family a travel experience,
Or just any kind of experience? You're taking them to a baseball game or a football game or whatever it is. Is there a way that you do so more affordably?
yeah, Groupon still exists, and you can definitely purchase experiences on Groupon for a discount. So one of the things that I've recently used it for is rock climbing for my daughter when we had that week off, and we got $10 off per ticket, but that's a great way. I know sometimes when you're traveling, there might be Groupons for restaurants or different types of movie theaters and plays and things of that nature. So I like to first look at Groupon to see if there is anything offered there. Otherwise, you can ask if they have like a group discount. Say you wanted to take your family to go see the Nutcracker ballet, for example. Then I would call their office to see if there's any group discounts that are offered. It never hurts to ask for a discount, especially if you're bringing a large volume of people, sometimes even if it's not
Yeah. One of the things that I will do is I try to strike this balance between looking for deals and avoiding unnecessary temptation to buy more. And this is especially true around Black Friday, around the holiday season when all these sales are coming on. I don't know about you, Brittany, but this is when I do my own shopping for my own self. I'm like, oh, I needed some more clothes. I needed some more boots. I'm waiting on Black Friday, right? And I'm searching my emails. I have an email address that I only use for like store discount stuff. And I will go through there. I'm like, oh, I'm about to buy a sweater from Banana Republic. Let me see if they sent me a discount code. Or I'm about to buy something from Express. Let me see if they give me a little discount code. So one of the things I do is search that email address and see if there's any discounts. But then it's also about knowing my limits, right? Because I can only see so many sales on clothes that I desire before I'm like, ooh, let me just add that to the cart. One of the things that I've tried to do is get rid of text to my phone sometimes, because I'm not even sometimes thinking about buying something and I say, ooh, so-and-so's got 40% off. I'm like, well, let me take a look and see what they've got. So I guess for me is striking that right balance between searching for a deal and not spending unnecessarily, and like knowing myself enough to know, like, okay, I can get the emails to the separate email address, but I probably shouldn't get the text to my phone. And so kind of knowing yourself and your own patterns and setting your own boundaries.
One of the things that I think could be very helpful is to do shopping before Black Friday. I often do this. I think about what I need in the gift that I want to purchase, and I put it in my cart ahead of time or try to save it somewhere in like favorites area on the website. And that way, when the sales come on, if that thing is on sale, then I would buy it, because I was going to buy it at full price because I actually liked it. But now I've just delayed gratification to see if there's a discount, because sometimes, like you said, if there's a discount, we tend to buy things that we may not desire, but it's like cheaper. Maybe I could get it, maybe it looked nice. And that leads to overspending. So really think about, okay, would I pay full price for this thing? Does it bring me joy? Would it bring my family joy? Save it now, go shopping before Black Friday, and then look at the deals to make sure that there's a match.
I love that. I love that. Another thing that I've tried to do is say, all right, I have outlined the things that I think I'm going to spend money on. And for me, that starts with, who am I buying gifts for? What is my budget for each person's gift? So that's something I try to do ahead of time and say, okay, I'm going to spend this much on my parents, this much on my brothers, niece, nephew, my stocking stuffer gift, whatever. I try to add all of that up and say, okay, this is the amount of money that I need. And I try to work an extra shift or something ahead of time so that I can make sure that I have that amount of money. And then I set a limit and I say, okay, I'm not going to go over this limit. And then when Black Friday comes, hopefully I can buy some things on sale, save some money somewhere or whatever. But I also will try to optimize credit card to earn points. Y'all know I love credit card points. I mentioned how one of the episodes, I think I'm going out of town, I'm buying a lot of things on points, buying hotels and resorts and things like that. And so I'm like, okay, if I'm going to spend this money, I'm going to try to get as many credit card points as I can so that I can then utilize those credit card points in the future for travel, vacation stays, and things like that. So I'm like, okay, which credit card should I use? And I already know at this point, like, okay, I'm going to use this credit card for this thing, this credit card for that thing, because this one's going to give me 4 times points. This is going to be 2 times points. So it's a little maneuvering, right? It's not like I'm pulling out the same card for every single thing, but it allows me to at least say, well, I'm spending a lot of money, but at least I know I'm going to get some money back. I know I'm going to get this back in value. And that has been very, very helpful for me.
Oh, I love that. And along the same lines, one of the things that I do is use Rakuten. Typically during Black Friday, they also give bonus cash back. So I like to look at their shopping portal to see what stores are offering discounts just generally, because I know that usually it'll be about 10 points more than whatever that percentage is. So say they're giving 2% cash back and I actually have mine to go to our Amex credit card points. So say they're giving like 2% of your purchase and Amex credit card points, and I know that it's going to be 12%. So I might shop specifically at those stores so that I could get the incentive bonus on the credit card using the credit card, but also that cash back points.
I love that you brought up Rakuten. I know you brought it up before. It was one of our earlier episodes, but I think it bears repeating now because I agree with you. The holiday season is when Rakuten is like a big deal. And so for those of you who have not heard of Rakuten, it's an online shopping portal. You basically go to Rakuten.com first, and then you click on the store that you want. So if you're going to buy something from Macy's, instead of going directly to Macy's, you go to Rakuten first, and then you go to Macy's. You use the Rakuten link to go to Macy's. And when you do that, Rakuten actually gives you cash back or credit card points. You have the option. And during Black Friday, they have their biggest perks. And so they may say, okay, if you buy something from the Macy's website on Black Friday, you're going to get 20% cash back. It's like, whoa, that's a big deal. And you can get that 20% in cash, or you can get 20% worth of American Express credit card points. And so you can choose how you want them to pay you. But it's really cool. It's free to use. It's easy to set up. And it's just another way for you to get maybe some money back. If you're a cashback person, get some money back from some of the money that you were spending. Or if you're like me and you're a credit card points person, to get some credit card points that you can utilize. So I love that you brought up Rakuten Rakuten, because I think if we're going to do some shopping, we might as well try to get all the cash back, all the credit card points that we can. And Rakuten is a big way that we can do that.
Yes. And if you want to put some cash in your pocket and put some cash in our pocket for the holidays, then you can go to the show notes and click our affiliate link and sign up for Rakuten if you don't already have an account. It has been a joy for me to use this service. And honestly, I have a couple of hacks with using Rakuten that maybe we should do a whole podcast on.
Oh, yes.
Like money hacks. So definitely click the link below and use our affiliate link to give us a little bit of a bonus, and you have a bonus for the holidays as well.
Yes, yes. Another thing that I have utilized is around the holidays, not only saving in advance, setting some sort of spending limit, outlining what I'm going to purchase, trying to find deals and discounts, also trying to mitigate unnecessary temptation, is to also think about giving. Usually it's during Black Friday where you start seeing people in the Christmas hats and they're ringing the bell every time you enter the store, right? They're asking for change, or you're at the checkout thing and they're like, do you want to donate? You know, we want to round up or whatever it is. So usually this is the time of the year that people are the most charitable. I always try to think about this as how can I give in a way that would also allow me to save money as well? And that is giving in a way that is tax deductible. And so this is usually the time, I mean, I give to my church throughout the year because I tithe, but this is the time that I also think about other charities. And so are there charities that are near and dear to my heart outside of my church, of course, and saying, okay, do I want to give during this season to this charity or that charity, and trying to do so, like I said, in a way that's tax deductible. There's nothing wrong with giving cash. I certainly do give the extra change and all of that stuff, but just saying, okay, maybe I can utilize this as well to my advantage, help somebody else and help myself. So this is also the time that I'm thinking about holiday time and giving in the most efficient way.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that there's Giving Tuesday, and whatever you can give, I think could be helpful. And I don't say that I actually give on Giving Tuesday because I give mostly throughout the year before this time, but this is another way to think about how can we increase and magnify our impact in the world using our earned money and elevating someone else who may not be as fortunate.
Yes, yes. And then, my last tip is I try to find ways to enjoy the holidays with family and friends that do not require me spending money. I love watching holiday movies. So this is when I open up those subscription services. Okay, I got Prime, I've got Netflix, I've got Hulu, I've got Disney Plus. I'm sure there's a movie on one of these that we can all enjoy. I love to bake during the Christmas season. I don't know about you. So sometimes I will bake with my little cousins. Like, let's make some cookies. That's usually free. We'll find some low cost things to do in the city. Sometimes I'll take them ice skating or something like that. And so I'm just trying to find ways that I can bond with my friends, bond with my family in a more economical sort of way.
That's so fun. And I love that. That's what I think I love the most about holidays is just bringing everybody so close together, and you can have memorable experiences. We do that a lot. We have like taco parties and game nights, and it gets intense. But what I love most is that my cousins have kids around the same age. And so the kids go in their section and they have snacks, literally like they're decked out with snacks and games and movies. And then the adults have our adult drinks, and we have a lot of fun. So I'm so happy that you mentioned that one.
All right. And now that we talked about money savvy ways to handle the holidays, I have given you way too much detail into our own personal situation and how we handle the holiday season. Let's get into our fun money segment.
Oh, I'm always thinking, how am I spending my money for fun? So I have two things that come to mind. I actually booked an appointment to get my hair done on Friday. I'm getting some braids, so I was super excited for that. And then just completing my office. You're like, oh, is this your office? Yeah, I'm redecorating. And so I have this yellow mustard couch in front of me, and I'm going to be putting some wall decals on one of the walls. I'm a little hesitant because I've never done it before, but I'm really excited about what it's going to look like. I'm also going to buy this big money plant. So I'm really excited of how everything is going to tie together, especially because I'm all about joy, having the yellows and the greens. And yeah, so just trying to create this office space that's going to help me to be creative, to help me to foster prosperity and longevity.
That sounds lovely. I'm like, maybe we should have you come over here and spruce up my place. I am not that creative. I'm like, okay, let's put some things in some brown frame. That seems to go with most things. Got some neutral colors. So I'm very excited to see what your office looks like because maybe I could take some ideas from that. One of the things that I am actually thinking about doing this year is decorating my place with holiday season decor. My sister-in-law, I have two sister-in-laws, but one of my sister-in-laws, she is just a master at this. I love going over to her and my brother's house because I know the place is going to be decked out. Let me tell you, Halloween, it is fun. Thanksgiving time, she's got the fall stuff all around. And then as soon as Thanksgiving's over, she's switching it out and it's red and green and we are having a good time. And it's so nice. I love celebrating the holidays with her because she's Mexican. And so she's got different traditions than we do. And she makes fancy drinks. I'm like, oh, can you make some? I don't even know the name of this. So can I get some more of this? And she puts stuff on the walls and it's just fun to walk in. It's just creates this environment, like you said, of joy. And so I thought to myself, well, I really love it when she does that. Why don't I do that for my own place? I'm in my own house more than I'm in hers. So I think that's something that I might spend a little fun money on and creating some holiday cheer.
Oh, I love that. I'm not very good with decorating either. So I usually wait for two people. My mom and my aunt are coming. So the kids are like, Mommy, when are we going to decorate for Halloween? I'm like, that is a great task for Aunt Rose. And our nanny loves to decorate. So last year she and Brooke did the tree. So I'm going to just offload and delegate those tasks to them and just enjoy it. So if you feel like this doesn't quite look like my sister's-in-law's place, just invite her over for dinner and you all do it together.
That is great. She would actually love that, I think. If I told her, hey, you go shopping, buy some stuff for my place and let's decorate it, she would be like in heaven. She's one of those DIYers. Like I come to her house and I'm like, was your desk always blue? And she's like, no, actually it was green before. We spray painted it and we decorated. I'm like, it looks like you bought a new desk. You're really good at this. Like, did you buy all these things? She's like, no, I made it. I looked on Pinterest and I'm like, oh, you are creative with apparently way too much time. So she's amazing at this. This is definitely one of her strong suits. And it's very clear that that is not mine. And so I'm going to take you up on that. I'm going to utilize her efforts to spruce up my place.
Yeah. I told Brooke the other day, actually, we were at piano lessons and she's like, Mommy, why did Moses have a stutter and talk like I did? Because Brooke stuttered when she was around 2 years old and we had gone to the Church of Christian Science. So nonetheless, I was like, oh, because God gives us imperfections to show his perfection in the world and also so that we can build community, that no one has everything that we need. And so we can be reliant on each other. So this is an opportunity for you to just embrace the God-given talent that he's giving your sister-in-law. And you can help her in some other way because God did not create us all equal. And he wanted you to rely on other people to build community and relationship.
That is absolutely true. I have relied on her and will be relying on her. I know she's like, I need God to give you a little semblance of this gift and some independence in this area. But you know what? God is working on me. I am working on me. And until that task is complete, I'm going to utilize her. So I am very excited about this. I'll have to send you some photos if we actually end up decorating the place. Or maybe I'll just send you photos of her place. That probably bring you more joy.
No, send us photos. Like do it before and after so we can share them on our social media. I think people would love to see the inside of our lives.
I'll have to see. We'll have to see if it's actually worth the photo. We'll have to see how much we end up decorating.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. We hope that you all have a very happy holiday and that you make wealth-minded purchases during this holiday season. We'll see you in the next episode. Hello, and thank you for listening to our podcast. And because of that, we have something for you, our Wealthy Minds Blueprint.
Have you ever thought to yourself, I wish I could be better with money? Do you want to start investing and saving for retirement, but keep delaying because you don't know where to start? Our Wealthy Minds Blueprint is here to help.
This guide will teach you what you didn't learn in your training so you can stop being confused about money and start taking what we call wealthy-minded action.
We'll help you become a master of your finances and simplify investing so you can get started today. Take control of your financial future by downloading your free copy of the Wealthy Minds Blueprint now and start building the wealth you deserve.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Brooke. I'm recording a little disclaimer for my mommy, Dr. Brittne Halford, and her friend, Dr. Lisha Taylor. Just so you know, they're not financial advisors, tax professionals, lawyers, or financial planners. Everything you hear is for education and entertainment. It's not strict financial advice, you know. So use your best judgment, chat with a tax professional, and all those other people that you need to talk to. Thanks for tuning in today. Keep cruising on your journey to wealth and wellness. Bye-bye.
One of the most important things you can do is ensure you have long-term disability insurance. Long-term disability insurance secures your income if the unexpected happens and you are unable to work due to medical illness, chronic conditions, or an accident.
Unfortunately, all insurance agents aren't created equal. Some of them are so focused on making a sale that they fail to reveal certain necessary information, tell you about discounts available, or clearly explain the process. Pradeep Botto and his team at PKA Insurance Group are different. They have a reputation of putting people over profits and always doing what's best.
If you need life insurance or disability insurance, reach out to Pradeep and his team today. They will help you get the insurance you need with the service you deserve.